Introduction to Best Practices for Revolut API Documentation. Revolut API documentation is a critical component of any successful integration with the Revolut platform. Clear and concise documentation helps developers understand how to use the API effectively, reducing the time and effort required to integrate with the platform. In this tutorial, we will cover the best practices for creating high-quality Revolut API documentation. Understanding the audience. The first step in creating effective API documentation is to understand the target audience. Revolut API documentation is primarily intended for developers, so the documentation should be written with a technical audience in mind. It should provide clear and concise information about the API endpoints, request and response formats, and any specific requirements or constraints. Organizing the documentation. A well-organized documentation is essential for easy navigation and understanding. The documentation should be structured in a logical and consistent manner, with clear headings and sections. Each section should provide a specific type of information, such as an overview of the API, endpoint descriptions, and code examples. Writing clear and concise descriptions. Clear and concise descriptions are critical for effective API documentation. Each endpoint should have a brief description that explains its purpose, the request and response formats, and any specific requirements or constraints. The descriptions should be written in a simple and straightforward language, avoiding technical jargon and complex terminology, including code examples. Code examples are an essential component of any API documentation. They provide a concrete illustration of how to use the API, making it easier for developers to understand and implement the API. The code examples should be accurate, up-to-date, and relevant to the specific use case. Providing error handling information. Error handling is a critical aspect of any API integration. The documentation should provide clear information about the types of errors that can occur, how to handle them, and any specific requirements or constraints. This information should include error codes, error messages, and any additional information that can help developers diagnose and resolve issues. Best practices for Revolut API documentation. There are several best practices that can help create high-quality Revolut API documentation. These include using a consistent tone and style throughout the documentation, providing accurate and up-to-date information, and using clear and concise language. The documentation should also be regularly reviewed and updated to ensure it remains relevant and effective. Conclusion. In conclusion, creating effective Revolut API documentation requires a deep understanding of the target audience, a well-organized structure, and clear and concise descriptions. By following best practices such as including code examples, providing error handling information, and using a consistent tone and style, developers can create high-quality API documentation that helps other developers integrate with the Revolut platform quickly and efficiently.